Hello, everybody. So hopefully, he's just gonna start the session in a moment. It's only 8:42 here. It feels like at least 9:30. But anyway, here in Canada, hopefully this will record fine because um, I had the charger half plugged in. I think that makes enough sense that I don't have to word it differently. And so when I came to look at it, it was a little low on juice, but not too bad. And hopefully it will climb or at least stay at what it's at. Um, I'm gonna wait till we. Well, it's always that thing. I kind of want to wait till there's viewers. Sometimes the wait isn't very long. Chapstick if you're curious. Chapstick if you're not. And I kind of want to just get started because there will be viewers afterwards. Oh, there is one thing I just really quickly want to run to the kitchen to do. I meant to do it before I sat down. I might turn rotate off actually. I thought I had looked at that, but oh no, it was off, but it looked like it was okay. Anyway, I have a little bit of an idea of what I want to say, but this was sparked by seeing a post in a mental health group. Or actually, not just solely a mental health group, but in a group I'm in online. And from somebody who was in a ward. And I did read what she said. Um, and the importance of feeling safe while working on tough things. Luckily, I'm able to kind of keep the comments up, but lower them to see the post. I rarely do that, and it's kind of awkward because I have to keep pressing the screen, but press down and hold of the screen. But she didn't say a lot, but I'm thinking her comments might, and I might bring that into it. And I'm also kind of thinking I might have stuff to say. Although I've never been in either, I've known people who have, and many years ago I was kind of in something similar. There's one place that I went to many times, but I don't think that could count. It isn't quite the same. In some ways, the concept or the basis of it is similar, but it's not considered that, and it's not much like that. Really, it was just a mental health place, and they fed you. And no, not jail. That would maybe be a different video that I may or may not do. No offense to anybody who might need to hear that. I'm sure there's lots of that kind of stuff out there. But I'm not sure if I'd be the one to do it or not. But I don't know. I mean, this might help you. I mean, I also don't think I'd want to be the one that knew that you were watching me in such a place. Part of me thinks that that's not very likely, and part of me thinks some might be. But I'm just gonna wait. There was somebody very briefly there. Maybe they clicked in before they saw what the title was. And this one is kind of for a specific audience, I guess, which is rare for my videos, I feel like. I try not to I thought it was music to kind of be too specific about that. I want it to be great for whoever it's great for and helps, and whoever enjoys it. But and this can be that, but I feel compelled to focus on the And this is still a wide variety of people. And so, I mean, I'll be very curious how many are and how many aren't. But this is primarily, again, but not only, for people who are in, or might be soon in, or have been, who are currently in, I would say. There was a couple of flashes at the top. A mental health ward or hospice. Um, but I'm gonna wait a few minutes, just glance every now and then to see if there's anybody watching. Oh, there is. So let's just roll with this. And I'm curious how this resonates with you. I'm curious if you fit the categories of people that I, with this one specifically mentioned, but you don't have to. But I see a like, and so that's great. I'm curious if you've ever been to the channel before, how you came across it. You know, sometimes people do search for things based on what they're going through, what they're needing support in. I just want to say to anybody, to everybody, but to especially anybody who is currently in a ward or in hospice, first of all, and the viewer left. They're like, oh, I didn't realize what this was. Oh, but either came back or somebody else is here. Anyway, they're like, oh, but they did say also anybody. I just want, and this is not scripted, so just be patient with me. I appreciate it. You are loved. That's the one thing that I keep kind of feeling like I need to say. You are loved by your angels in heaven, by strangers that you haven't met yet, that maybe you'll get to meet someday, or that you're watching a podcast of at the moment, and hopefully by family and friends too, or at least a few of them. We're all going through a hard time. Some of us are going through a harder time than others. Where we may find that we are either struggling with our mental health and found ourselves in a place, hopefully, where we're getting support. But I understand that some of them aren't run very well. I want to state, because this makes me think of somebody that I knew that was in one years ago, that if you know, you're going to see people that either, kind of like in life in general, I suppose, that either make you comfortable, make you uncertain, and, you know, I've heard people say before, you know, like about detox places, you know, you got people that are trying to get better, you got people that were like almost forced to be there but aren't really trying, you know, people at different stages and levels of things, right? And so I just want to remind you, if you're struggling with that or know someone who is, you can send this to them, I guess, that, 2 to 1, but that, and don't be shy in the comments too, that, you know, to remember that you're there for yourself. You know, as far as hospice, that means that, you know, you're nearing the end of your life and you know it, and you probably have some health problems. I'm curious if the person watching right now, this applies to you in either way, or you're just curious. But I'm also posting this for those who see this after, for those who may come to your mind to send it to. With this one, I mean, I know it's YouTube anyway, but I'm fine mostly with whoever sees it. If you think that it's an especially great message, any of my content, yeah, I don't mind you sharing it with like somebody you think of, you know. But anywho, again, none of this is scripted. But yeah, I just want you to know that I believe in you, that I have faith in you, even though I don't know you. I'd like to think that most of us actually have a pretty strong core and center, even if we feel weak, even if we are struggling, we do have a strength within us, and we must remind ourselves that it's there, and we must breathe life into that. Um, do things that you like. Try and be with people that you like. Um, I guess with hospice, I don't know exactly what those look like. I'm not quite a doula in those ways yet. And we did have a relative recently pass in such, but in another province. The thing about that is that it must be a very interesting place to be, in the sense that they probably try and make it extra comfortable in some ways or other. That you're all, I mean, wards similar, but in the sense of, like, you're all in there for a similar reason. But I know that some people will go into a thing like a mental health unit or a ward, and they hope to make connections with people. Sometimes they're very lonely. Sometimes they just feel like they click with somebody. Um, but you only know what they are telling you. Again, you have to consider your own wellness first. You have to watch and observe. And it's okay to take things slow, even if you do make connections. However, I would say that if you're in hospice, the connection is even more guaranteed. One, because it's probably just more tight-knit. Closer, people maybe connect with each other deeper, including about life. But they also, I believe, when they pass away, still have that connection, which wouldn't quite be the same with a ward, or at least not for a long, long time, right? Because, yeah. What else would I say? I've never thought about this before. We had one person there for quite a while. Another person came in and took them both. I'm going to look at this post again and see if there's anything that maybe speaks to me. I was looking through some of my old content today. One, out of curiosity tonight, and I still, it's like, I need to play this not much before. I still have a ways to go. But one of the reasons I was doing it is because this is a channel that me and somebody else in the home use. Mostly me, these days. And the other person works a lot and isn't around to see the content very much. So I wanted to, even though I kind of get tired of myself sometimes, because, I live with myself. I podcast, even if I enjoy it and other people enjoy it, I'm here myself doing it once, and there are certain things that kind of feel a bit repetitive that I say because there's always new people coming in, although I haven't said a lot of those things yet, and we're almost 14 minutes in. But, so I was looking, and I guess I'll say it to those who are watching this afterwards. Well, I do have a lot of videos about mental health and healing on this channel. That's an uplifting. That's one thing that this channel is very much about, aside from doing music and other randomness sometimes. But it also, there was a video, I can't remember exactly what it was called, even though, yes, I just saw it like a little over an hour ago. I want to say it said something about the mental health system, was the title. And when it fails and how we can do better. And it was inspired by when my mother was just in a general hospital, was in a hospital for a surgery, and while she was having to wait, she was telling me about somebody that was around, and that. So, and it made me feel bad for the person. For my mother a little bit, and also for the person. So I didn't get very much that time. I'm a bit tired. I am a bit multitasking. I don't know what else I want to put to this. And I know that those environments, especially the ward one, like I say, knowing a couple people who've been in them, can be kind of hectic, kind of distracting unless you're hanging out in your room. I guess one thing I would say is whether it's my live streams and that would be my first suggestion. Not that I'm saying I'm better than anybody, but we gotta plug ourselves first, right? But surround yourself. I mean, I know when you're in these kind of places, you don't necessarily get out much, but watch stuff on your devices that are healing, that you enjoy, or that you would find helpful, because basically what I'm saying is try and realize what bad habits you may have that you're trying to heal from. And one thing that may help is to not focus on them as much. Whether it's I hope that makes sense. I know with addictions, it's kind of like, even when you might not, when you want to be free from them, sometimes they kind of have their own idea, right? Addictions. But I could also include, but again, I would say some of these same things, in some ways to anyone, but also, like homelessness, for instance. That's a type of living that isn't as comfortable as living in a home usually is, right? Or maybe you do live in a home, and it's some sort of uncomfortable situation, the people you live with, whatever it is. Again, I just want you to know that I'm wishing the best for you in your situation, that I'm sending you love from Canada. They gotta relate to this. I have a great family. I have this and that. Possibly, right? And I know you can get through this time and come out stronger. I mean, I have my own struggles, and it's hard to feel some of these things sometimes. But I would like to send that out, and I'm not going to sit here and claim that I'm a miracle worker, and I think that's hopefully obvious. But I just trying to do what I feel I can do. But sometimes in life isn't as much as I feel I can do. I'm so thankful for YouTube, because even though some people would say, well, if you spend less time on YouTube, we'll miss you. No, but yeah, but maybe you'd have. But I mention sometimes in some of the videos what some of the struggles are, and they're hard to get past, really. Believe me, I've mostly tried. Or I have tried. I will never likely be a driver. Going back to school, getting a degree, And like certain types of environments like these that I'm mentioning here, I might not actually want to work or volunteer in. I would rather do it via YouTube. That being said, I feel like the impact would be more noticeable, would be more reaching sometimes, because there's a lot of stuff on YouTube, and people have, especially if they're on like a computer or whatever, that shows them, or even a cell phone, and they're multitasking, browsing, and this and that, and they're like, oh, I want to watch this, but I want to watch this, but I want to watch this. I do get it. I'm still going to blame it for it, no, just kidding. But I do get it. But, yeah, I mean, so this is my hope. This is one of my hopes for this channel as well, is to continue to, and to more than ever, to uplift, to give people hope. And sorry, it's a bit late. My eyes maybe look a little bit tired. I think it's this device too. I'm used to doing these on a laptop. But yeah, I mean, the person that just came in, I've only been rolling for about 20 minutes, but welcome. Curious if you've ever been to the channel before or how you came across this. Do you find yourself in one of those two types of places right now that the title mentions? Or do you, when you left? Maybe they just know somebody and maybe that's really hard for them right now, and so they want to watch this, but they... And again, the message would be somewhat similar to people, to people that have loved ones that are, and that they're trying to care for. You know, stay strong. You are loved. I hope it gets better for you. I mean, in some ways, what else can we say, right? I mean, you know, if you have any song requests, maybe tomorrow or later this week, I could try and do them and bring some music to you. What would be really cool, sure, your headphones, but what would be really cool in such a place is if I found out that whether it's this video or whether it does music, I do music in it or not because I'm musical, or in general, if I found out that for the good, because the message or the music is healing and the vibe is enjoyable, it was played for a group of people. Nothing against people out of ward, but I'm a little bit more leaning towards, well, maybe a class, I don't know, but maybe not this video, I don't know, the hospice thing. But this is for, you know, kind of for all of the above. I feel like I'm going to start repeating myself now if I roll much longer. As I said a moment ago, what else can we say? You know, when you're in that kind of situation. One thing that did interestingly come to mind, whether you know somebody who is or you are, and don't be shy in the comments. This is over the phone, so I don't know if live chat will show afterwards. But either way, okay, and the person left. But what I will suggest is try and get outside, whether it's, you know, preferably with, you know, people that aren't, well, or also with, and you can introduce them to your loved ones, people that aren't in either of those two places, but visitors. If you're able to get outside on a nice day. You know, I know winter's coming in a lot of places. Some places don't really get winter very much, or they're the opposite seasons. But even in the winter, you know, and of course smokers always will use that as a good reason. And in some ways it is, I guess, because, you know, it you know, gets you outside and all, you know, no matter what. Also, if you or anyone you know have a pet, invite them into the visit. Especially a dog, I'm thinking, because, I mean, I suppose some people might bring their cat on a leash or a bird on their shoulder, I suppose. But a dog especially. And if allowed, even bring them in for the, if they're, you know, friendly, and if it's allowed, like I say, bring them in for the others. You know, unfortunately, some of these places probably have rules against it, unless it's a service animal. But honestly, these are the kind of things that would be very needed. Musicians, art, you know, very needed in these kind of places. Well, we've had some movement along the top, and I don't know if anybody's been coming and going, but and I haven't been rolling super long, but it's there's been some retention, and there's been one like. Don't forget to like and subscribe and comment. I'd be happy to hear from you. And I really would love to know if this reaches anybody who is in either of those two places. But again, we could also say because some people won't. Some people say no, I don't know anybody in the ward, or I never have. I don't yet know anybody in hospice, or I never have, or currently, or never have. Um, but we either find ourselves there or know somebody who is there at more than one probably point in our life. And when I saw that post, I just kind of it inspired it. I was kind of in a podcasty mood. Got two people just came in at the same time, and I felt inspired. Um, do you have a song request? I'm musical. I don't have a lot of energy, but I could do one or two songs. Maybe make a couple of requests. If you're gonna make one, make a couple in case I don't know the first one. Hopefully, I'll know the other one. Um, and we'll wrap this up with song. Although you both left, but just in case it wasn't intentional and you're about to come back, or you needed a moment of quiet to think of a request, well, you didn't have to go anywhere. I'll give it to you. Moment's up. Just kidding. Oh, isn't that nice? Isn't this delightful? The only thing is, so I mentioned in my earlier video, just to switch topics for a moment, I mentioned in one of my earlier videos that a group I'm in online, I was made as a moderator today. And I tried to say I don't need a welcome, just being welcome, just coming on board with the team is good enough for me. I also said something about how I worded how I wanted the post. And an hour ago, and this was this morning when we were talking with the guy, and he's in Australia, one of the other moderators made a post welcoming me. But I kind of, not tagged, but I don't know if I have a problem with that or not. It's got a mixture of hearts, likes, and reactions, 5 of them within the hour, and 4 comments. And 2 people are thanking me for my help and volunteering my time, and 1's welcoming me. And I must admit, that feels good. Like, I'm used to just being a member. Now I feel like I'm a little bit front and center, and I'm not sure what to think of that. I mean, like, yeah, I offered because I'm looking for a sense of purpose, and I've been in a rut myself lately, and I offered. But that was more going to be, I noticed this. What do you think about this? Is this okay or not? Or whatever. Like, not being a Karen or anything, but just kind of, and all 3 of them. But just came here and look at it. But and I kind of feel like, anyway, so I might address that. He doesn't like that. Anyway, I would have loved for some dialogue to have happened in this. Maybe afterwards it will. I would have loved to have known that this reached somebody in such a situation and helped them feel good. But I think I am going to wrap up because I know I'm tired. I know I'm now distracted. There was another detail, although I guess kind of what I said about it maybe is why he worded it that way. But he also has these little blurbs on the top of his message under his name, and there's a guy, I don't know if he's more known about in the States. I'm in Canada, but I've heard the name a few times lately, and apparently he passed away. And I mean, we gotta respect each other. I mean, it went from 1 to 3, and whether that's a good thing or not, again, well, again, we can stick on the topic. I've already said some stuff, but I'm realizing that this mod may be And I'm a very laid back and diverse, easy to get along with person. But this mod, even though I had an okay conversation with him earlier today of this group that I'm in, may be a little too different from me. That being said, he's talking about leftists, and I think I'm confusing it. Well, maybe not confusing it because I think they connect with liberalism. Anyway, I'm curious if this is your first time to the channel, how you came across this video. Remember to like and subscribe. It went from 1 to 2 now. Sorry, I'm saying things all monotone. I'll stop in a moment. Just kidding. But literally, I am thinking of wrapping up soon. But I'm wondering how the title resonates with you. Is it for you yourself or a loved one that you think of? I'll give you a moment to comment. Okay, you left. Yeah, I think I'm going to wrap up. And I think that it's obvious that I'm not in a... You can tell by the art and... Well, this is my usual location. If anybody's thinking, oh, is this guy in a ward or hospice? No, I'm in neither. Anyway, I'm going to wrap this up, I think. But, oh, it's way over there. Well, not far, but too far. I was going to say wrap this up and put a bow on it. G was looking at a shelf, a bunch of stuff on it there earlier today. And found this bow. And said, oh, I could use that for when I say that line. But also, I don't know if it's just because I'm doing this or what. The AC is on, but I'm finding it very warm in here. And I know that I have wild hat hair sometimes, and kind of want to take my hat off, but you can leave your hat on. Anywho, so yes, you know, I don't want to say that the people in those type of places that I mentioned in the title would have a short attention span, but some of them, you know, they may only be, for various reasons, truly may only be able to, any of us really, but able to focus on things for a short period of time. I'm so glad, even though, you know, I do believe life goes on and there's an afterlife. I'm so glad that our loved one Kathleen got to see some of our videos, especially a couple of things specifically to her. I did get to send something in chat. While she was still on this plane, there was still something very special about that, even though, you know, like I say, I do believe that that there's a heaven. I guess maybe that, and I mean, I talk about the afterlife a little bit on this channel from time to time. Did an interesting video earlier today, actually, kind of on that. And I might rewatch it with G, who wasn't around when I did it. The G and the GNC. So maybe put a comment on the person left already, but I was going to say put a comment there and they're like, ooh, I want to go check that out. But if you're in hospice, know that you're about to go to a very beautiful place. Because some people do, whether they believe in heaven or not, and some people don't know what they believe. If you have a fear of never seeing your family again or losing your family, it's not like, you know, as far as contacting, like, mine got family. You know, I said to myself, it's only been a week, and some people may find it cool, and some people won't right now because it's so fresh, kind of thing, right? But it's kind of like, I'm sure that some people have a worry when they're dying that they're going to never see their family and friends again. Well, with the experiences that I've had with spirit, I can let you know that they can see you and you can feel them. I know it don't always feel like it at times, and it's hard to sometimes make that connection, bridge that connection, but I show on my channel sometimes in the lives how it can happen, how it's real, and until we all meet again in heaven, it's in a different way between the two realms. But it's I mean, some people may think you're claiming to know it all, but I've had experiences, and my angels have kind of told me, you know. I've never had an NDE unless you count communicating with them, but and I've got to believe them. They're there. They wouldn't make it up. You know what I mean? And it's very comforting to know that we will see them again someday. And I guess for those that are in a ward or that know somebody or are somebody that is considering, I hate to say the word, but we can talk about it. We need to talk about it because, it's important. Suicide. I just want, and I lost both of them. But I guess I don't want to get anybody's loved ones mad at me, but I talk about it sometimes. I talk about it. And how, it's not that they don't love you or care about your feelings, it's just that their pain is stronger. And just like when somebody is dying from an illness, because those who do die in such a way as what I mentioned a moment ago, I mean, the truth be told, a lot of them probably have mental illness. An illness is an illness, even if they're all different. There's also similarities, right? And it gets to a point sometimes where it's very taxing on those that are caring for the ill. And it gets to a point where you'd find more comfort knowing that they'd be in a better place. You could see them again someday. And we have to respect their life and the journey and direction that it took, because we can't really change that. You know what? If it's going to happen, it was meant to. And I know it doesn't feel like that, like it sometimes. But it wouldn't have happened if it wasn't. What we then have to do is heal and come to acceptance. Again, doesn't mean that we have to like it, that it happened. I think when I say come to acceptance, that's obvious, but we don't have to like that it happened. And these things aren't always easy to do, and I would struggle with them too, probably. But we have to accept that they did, as in acknowledge that they did. And that's the first part of healing, I think. If you are somebody who's thinking about it, you can always come and talk to me on my channel. I want to be here for you. I would like to hope that you have a lot to offer the world, and that you are a great person, and that even if you don't feel, and the person didn't even give that like, what's weird? No. Even if you don't feel, but you came back. Even if you don't feel loved or lovable right now, know that you are, and you can be, and that things can improve for you with hard work, making the right connections, focusing on helpful things. You can do it. I know you can do it. And you can have a bright future. And I would love to be part of your journey. And I would love to hear about it. Whether you post video, and whatever. But whether you post videos about it or come and comment on mine. The retention's a little iffy. But there has been quite a bit of activity and people staying for a few minutes at a time. I understand that this is deep topics, and again, like you say, if you're dealing with a mental illness that's really speaking at you strongly, or you're got stuff going on around you, or you're just feeling so weak, I understand. So I'm not going to make this any longer because I don't have anything else to say because of that stuff that I just mentioned. And to be quite honest, I mean, yeah, that's mostly why. Um, but it did climb 3%. But at least it hasn't died. But, and, truth told, there hasn't been a lot of likes or comments. Some videos are just quiet, again. And I said the reasons, and then there's so much on YouTube. But I hope that people will realize, it's not that I want the recognition, but maybe I do a little bit. And shouldn't I get it? I hope that people will realize, my kind soul, what I'm trying to put out there for others. And with that, I hope to hear from you and get to know you. And I wish you a good day, a great coming week. Feel free to say where you're watching from in the world. And we're all in this together. Bye for now.